podcast day, Falcon Paladin.
Hello, Samacron. Good to be here for yet another great podcast day.
It is a lovely podcast day. It is like 16 degrees, I want to guess.
Oh, is the sun out?
The sun is out. It's been very like foggy in the mornings recently, and then by like 10:30, the sun comes out, perfectly clear blue sky. It's lovely.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice day. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that for days. Yeah, it's just pure sun and like 85 degrees out here. So we're getting into summer now. Yeah.
Yep,
It's
yep.
okay, I guess. Open some windows, cool it off.
Yeah. I mean, there are ways to cool down, so it's fine.
Yeah,
You'll
exactly.
live.
Man, imagine if you lived in the olden times, though. No air conditioning.
Yeah.
Anywhere ever. Just like, oh boy, it sure is hot. Guess we'll die.
I guess we'll drink water and shade ourselves from the sun.
Yeah. And like, hope we have access to ice, I guess, which isn't really a thing for most of human history.
No, I mean, they were cutting it up in the Arctic and carrying it down.
Yeah. Like Norway. I guess, I mean, there were ways that they could store it. Like, they would go cut ice and they'd bring it back and like put it in a basement and insulate it with straw. And that way it would last for like several months, which I thought was kind of cool. Kind of cool way to do it.
Very chill. Yep.
Yeah. Lol.
Hey, man, you're the one who said it was cool.
I know. It wasn't an intentional pun. You know me.
Yeah, but it could have been.
Maybe one of these days, for the first time ever, it'll totally be an intentional pun.
Yep, anything can happen. So,
All right. What do we got? We have things happening.
we have Group Stage 2 of the GSL.
We do.
Yeah.
Group C, because we already did Group D. So obviously after that, we had to do Group C.
Naturally. That is the progression, A, B, D, C.
That's how the alphabet goes.
Yep.
Yeah. So Group C was Cure Dark, Stats, and Rogue.
And I'm pretty sure
And as both of us obviously predicted, Cure made it out first.
Oh, yeah, obviously. I back Cure every time.
Right. We
He's my
all
guy.
both totally believed in Cure. You're obviously the bigger Cure fan, but I was right there with you as much as I could be.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Please
I-
don't listen to the previous pod.
I just watched a free-for-all that Pig had on his channel. It was Max Pax, Cure, Disruptor, and Pig all playing.
Who's Disruptor?
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay, fine.
A Terran, probably American.
Sure.
And the point of the video is that Pig was like messaging them all before the game starts, being like, "Oh yeah, you and me, let's go and gang up on that person." And he just pitted all the pros against each other.
Yeah.
So Pig eventually won, and he managed to knock out 2 or 3 pretty quickly. And then it was like, okay, it's a 4-player map. I've got more resources. I just need to survive the other pro Terran.
Right.
But yeah, Cure comes out first, despite losing to Pig.
Yeah, I believe that is going to be the first sentence on his Wikipedia page. Will be Cure made it out of Group Stage 1 in GSL Season 2 despite losing to Pig.
And I mean, a free-for-all is basically the same as GSL, right? Those are comparable standards of play for professionals, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Yeah, so Cure and Dark makes it out. I'm pretty sure I did pick Dark to make it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I was a little bit worried about his new dad status and the fact that he has a wagey job now, but you were like, nah, it's fine. And it was fine.
It's fine, he's Dark.
Yeah.
To like find time to look after his kid, he stopped going to the gym for 30 minutes a day, right? Like that's all he needed.
Oh, no. Now he's going to get fat. Bummer.
Well, I mean, he's still there for 4 hours, so he's just trimming back a little.
Oh, got it. So from 4.5 down to 4.
Yeah.
So it's funny because he got 2-0'd by Stats to start off in the group. And then 2-0'd Rogue, which ZVZ, whatevs. And then he 2-0'd Stats to make it out. And it's like, what a reversal.
Yeah. I probably should have watched those games to see what he did differently in those. I assume you watched them. You watch all of the games except for the ZVZ.
I did watch all of the games.
Yeah.
And
So what changed?
Well, for the first couple games, he ended up doing for that first best of 3. He ended up going for a Ling Queen Nidus assault opening
Okay.
at stats 3rd,
Uh-huh. Yep.
which worked, but kind of set him back on tech quite a bit. And then the counterattack from stats killed him like 2 times in a row. So it was like, okay, the first time it didn't work, and Stark's like, no, this works. I know it works, you guys. Hold on. I just got to execute a little bit better. Yeah, both times Stats totally lost his Nexus, and it was like, oh no. And then he's like, oh wait. And then he went and killed him.
Okay.
And then, and the second time around, he just didn't do that. He just played standard Serral style, defend all the time, stop every Protoss attack, get up to 6 bases, and win. So it's like, whatever. He just didn't do anything dumb when he needed to, and it was fine. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Not a whole lot to say about that. Just, I don't know, maybe he was looking to poke stats. You know, oh, you're recently back. Let's just do some funky builds that maybe you haven't prepared for. Because like the first thing stats would do is be like, okay, what's the standard thing Zergs are doing? Let's work on that. So you throw something wild at him, it's got a chance to work, but I mean, apparently not.
Yeah. Nope. Not particularly. Not as well as you would hope, especially after you do get the 3rd. Anyway. Yeah. So that's why stats got knocked out. Cure just looked good, period. He 2-1'd Rogue. He 2-1 stats. I mean, TVP currently is. It's been a tough place for Protoss for a long time now. But yeah, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think anything really too weird happened. Pretty standard across the board there. There was one of the games between Cure and Rogue where Cure, the one that he dropped, he actually ended up killing like 5 hatcheries in only about a 17-minute game. And usually, like, that'll set back the Zerg player enough that you can pull it off. But Rogue, again, his superpower is kind of just like, it doesn't, like, I'll just lose stuff. It's okay. I'll still barely be able to hold on despite this hit to my economy. Don't worry about it. I don't know. But then Cure, and I do think it's interesting to note that in general, unless you're Maru, it's easier to take down a Zerg player in the first 10 minutes than it is to take him down once we get past that point. You are absolutely exhausted today.
I had a late night last night. I didn't get to bed till 8:30.
8:30.
And then I slept until 5 a.m. Can you believe it? 5 a.m.
No, that's crazy, dog. I can't believe you did that.
Got woken up by my cats, and this is an accurate impression of what they sound like, which is like, sir, it is appointed feeding time. Hello, sir, do your duty. That is my cats to a T.
I can understand that for sure. Well, someone has to do it. Somebody has to remind you need to feed them. None of the humans in the house are going to make sure that's happening.
Yeah, they all get to sleep in well past 5:30.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anywho.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so just a couple of games that Cure took down Rogue, it was shorter. It was timing attacks. It was stuff that Rogue just didn't quite have enough to hold on for, which has always been kind of a tough position to be in. And if you're out of practice because you've been in military for a while, those timings are even more difficult. So,
Right.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Yeah. But we now have completed Group A. Well, we have like the roster filled out for Group Stage 2, so Groups A and B. The round of 8, as it now is more groups. Group A being Maru, Sur, Cure, and Beyond. All of the Terrans in one group. And Paul
Yeah.
Sur.
Strangely enough.
Yeah. Well.
And then Group B is Hero, Creator, DRG, and Dark. No Terrans.
No Terrans, but evenly matched in Protoss and Zergs. Which, I mean, looking at the group breakdown, there will be mirrors to start. Which,
Right.
I guess that technically means that the first person to move on won't be doing it in a mirror match. Like, if Hero beats Creator and Dark beats DRG, it'll be Hero versus Dark to move out first. And, like, you end up with less chance of 2 Protoss or 2 Zergs moving out, I think.
Right. Okay. That's good. I like that setup.
Me too.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously we're picking Maru to make it out of here from his group stage, and then my goodness, do we dare pick against Cure, the Terran god?
Well, he didn't have any other Terrans in his last group. How can we tell?
That's true. How good's his TVT? How is he against Bjorn and Maru?
What does the Ligalac say?
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's predict. It's a best of 3, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, best of 3 in the group stages.
So Cure versus Beyond. Show me the future. It's about 52% in favor of Cure. So basically dead split.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't realize it'd be that close.
To Beyond, yeah. Tomorrow, it's a 76% tomorrow.
Wait, 70? Yeah, tomorrow. Okay, I heard that backwards for a second. Yeah,
Yeah,
76 in favor of Maru. Makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, so the
but it gives him a 68.9% chance versus Sue. So, who does he have to play first?
Beyond.
Beyond. So it's 50-50. I mean, I gotta go with Beyond.
Yeah. Again, just nobody believes in Cure.
That is every season. We're just like, oh, can Cure do it? I'm gonna go with the other guy, and it's like Beyond is post-military, has wrist issues, is clearly not like where he was when he won the world championship, but it's still like I'd take him over Cure. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Poor Cure.
I mean,
no one believes in him.
nobody believes in him. Nobody believed in him in the GSL that he won. Nobody was picking him, and then he did it. And then we are all like, we continue not to pick him. We disrespect this man so much.
Fuck yeah. Cure's gonna win the whole thing now.
I know.
We don't believe in him. Yeah, that's how it's gonna work.
Not even a tiny bit. I mean, if he can beat Bjorn, and he can beat Sue, which I definitely think he can beat Sue.
Well, here's the thing. If he beats Beyond, he'll have to fight Maru.
Yeah, he can drop against Maru. That's not game ending, right?
It's not. But it might break his confidence.
Could do.
Well, because here's the thing. Here's what will happen. Maru will beat Sue. Cure beats Beyond. So Beyond will beat Sue. And then what you have is Cure losing to Maru and then having to fight Beyond again. And it's back to 50-50.
That's tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So official predictions.
Maru Beyond.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Group
All right.
B, Hero
Group
created
B.
DRG, Dark. I mean, Dark, obviously.
Yeah, he's just looked really scary.
For his entire career.
And then Hero's better than both DRG and Creator.
Yeah. I feel like that one's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a Protoss win with Hero winning the GSL, maybe.
Could do, but as I said earlier, the state of PvT is not good for StarCraft 2.
It's all still Phoenix Colossus, isn't it? Or Phoenix Adept.
Phoenix Adept Colossus. You got it. You nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Should be fun. It's a week between. So I mean,
Yeah,
Group A is not for
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And then there's another week till Group B. Why are we doing this?
I don't know. The playoffs? The playoffs are another week after that.
Oh my gosh.
So we still got another month of GSL.
But at least they're playing the semifinals and the finals on the same day. It could have been worse.
I don't think they'd do that. I don't think they'd split those up. I feel like this group stage should be best of 5s. Because I feel like the playoffs, when they were the round of 8, like they're big old bracket instead of 2 groups, they were also best of 5s. And I just feel like I would like to see, players like Creator and DRG and Sue have more chances to do something, right? Like, I mean, it is kind of sad if it's like, okay, well, instead of 2 games of Maru smashing Sue into the ground, it's 3, you know? It's a little
Right.
sad, but at the same time, a reverse sweep when it's a best of 5 feels way more cool than a reverse sweep when it's a best of 3.
It's not even a reverse sweep at that point. Like, no one's ever called it that. That's not
No,
what it is.
I mean, functionally, mechanically, it's the same thing, right? You're down, and like your opponent's one away, their penultimate score, and then you win all the games in a row required. That's technically a reverse sweep.
Yeah, but no one calls it that. That's all I'm saying.
Nobody calls it that, but I would like to
Okay.
have more of them. That's
That would be hilarious. He was 1 game away from being eliminated. He'd only played 1 game, but he was 1 game away. And he's pulled off this incredible comeback by winning 2 games in a row.
it's a good way to make it more hype.
Just try to underplay the exact situation, but you can be hype about it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good heavens. We have a long time to wait for this, but that's okay. We also have Warhammer to talk about.
Yeah, there's actually the open stage of ESL Masters Spring happening in a couple days. I don't know that it's hugely worth talking about at the minute because it's like, who do you think will win? Korea's Gumiho or England's Marsbar?
Right. That's a fair point.
You're entirely cutting out for me. These stupid headphones are dying, I think.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah? You don't want to talk...
Crazy hype.
You don't want to talk about Scarlet versus Holden?
I do not. No.
What about Bunny versus Patches?
Nope.
No?
Still no.
Beyond versus Full Heart? You don't want to back any of these American players. Wow, it's bold of you. Way to stick up for your countrymen.
Where's I'll back Estrella. Where's Estrella?
Either he's not in the groups. I don't see him. I don't see his name.
He's already automatically qualified because he's so awesome. No, he's not even on the list. What the heck, Estrella?
He's in the participants. Yeah, he's in Group A. Group A.
Nice.
First up is Hero Marine, but those games aren't played for another couple days as well. I mean, we can. So the open stage and the winner stage are played at the same time. That's weird. We can talk about that. Because, like, the group stages here is, like, Stats or Clem, Olivier Rivera Classic. There's actual games.
Exactly.
Do you need a link?
No, I got it.
You got it? You just don't want to talk
so.
about it? I mean, Estrella's got a chance. He just has to beat Hero Marine and then probably Maru.
Yeah, that's tough. It's a big ask.
Yeah. I noticed that Cyril is still in Group B here, despite being in military.
That's strange. He hasn't officially declined it.
I think finish military, he's allowed to keep playing and competing. It's not like Korean where they're not allowed to earn money doing anything else.
Nice.
So what kind of form he's in is going to be a whole nother question, but
I'll take it.
yeah.
I'll take a potentially diminished Cyril.
If he wins versus Nice, which I expect he will, he'll probably have to verse Hero or Reyna. I mean, Reyna historically has not had Cyril's number. So, wait.
It's okay. I think it'll be all right.
It'll be okay. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Yeah. We'll follow it.
Yep. So, Warhammer?
Warhammer.
What did we read this time?
We read The Mark of Calth.
Yes, it's an anthology.
It's another anthology that basically looks at the after effects of the Battle of Calth, which I liked because I liked the book about the Battle of Calth, and I can't remember what it was called.
No fear.
Yeah, no fear.
Yes.
And then at the end, there's all these plot hooks and things, and it's like the end. It's like, hey,
Hey,
what
wait a
about all
minute.
the plot hooks you set up?
I've been
Like, oh,
bamboozled.
buy this other book, and I'm like, oh, fine. I see how this works. It seems fair.
So I am appreciative that this collection of audiobooks are all. I mean, they're all tied together in some way. Because, like,
Yeah,
one of the ones we read previously, it was like, well, I guess you could call these a connection, but it was really just like a scattering of short stories that they didn't have anywhere else to put. So
right.
each of these books sets up like an idea or a theme and then pays it off in another, which is always really impressive when you have like 7 different authors writing and you manage to make it feel consistent and uniform.
Yes, I agree. It definitely felt like less of just a collection of independent stories and more of a cohesive thing. Yeah.
So, which was your favorite?
That's a great question. I did like the one where it follows our perpetual as he tries to drag these mortals through different different worlds and times and
Yeah.
like trying to
So,
keep him alive and trying to find somewhere safe, and he's like, I don't know where I'm going, but
yeah.
I'm being guided by something, I suppose.
Yeah, he has this compass and an athame dagger, and he's like learned how to. Well, at some point, he's like, "I've lived a very long time. I've learned how to do this, but I don't really like doing it." And he can cut holes in reality with the daggers and step through them like a teleportation device.
Right.
And he takes them to all sorts of weird places. How many of the places did you pick up on as like some of them they were a little bit like, do you know what the Battle of 73 Easting was?
Right. Some of them are very much like this is a location you might be familiar with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you might be familiar that he was like with Jason and the Argonauts. You might be familiar that he took them to Verdun or the
Yeah.
Gulf War, you know?
Yeah. World War II battle from the 1990s. The one with the trumpeters, though, I don't know if we were supposed to understand what that one
No,
was.
I think because like they pick up las weapons there. I think that's a made up one from when he was a trooper fighting in the Imperial Army. So somewhere relatively close in history. It's like
Right.
a plus or minus 200 years, you know, of 30K, you know.
Yeah. Which is honestly just like basically a weekend. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. It was fun. It does a good job just kind of like kind of communicating the sense of dread as he realizes they're being chased by some kind of a warp beast, that there's something coming. And he's like, I'm not a psyker. I can't defend against any kind of anything from the warp. I'm just a dude who's a perpetual. So that was interesting for sure. And then finally, it becomes clear that his best friend in the whole world, John Grammatica, has been behind this whole thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, John Grammaticus was like, "Hey, buddy, you're on Calth. I need you to get off Calth. You know, like, I need you to do a thing." That happened in No Fear, but like now he realizes, oh, that wasn't John like popping in to save him from Calth's annihilation. That was him being like, "Hey, I need you to like be in a place and do a thing at some point. So get moving."
Yeah, very
Yeah.
practical.
So John and Trooper Person as what's the servitor's name? Graft likes to call him, even though he's not been a trooper for a while. He's pious now to some people. It is a little interesting that like he's been chilling in like Calth and he's in the army, but he's still very much well known as a guy who has a god. Like he's like, yeah, this guy still worships, but everyone in the Imperium just lets it go. You know,
Right.
it's a little strange still. I think my favorite book, was Aaron Dembski Bowden's The Underworld War, where one of the Val Gorback is like, it's been 7 years. We're still fighting underground on Calth. We need to, like,
Yeah.
the Legion never came back for us. Lorgar betrayed us. He left us here to die. We need to go and make sure he remembers, you know?
Right.
Right.
And everyone he talks to is like, that's treason. You
That's-
can't do that.
Your duty is here underground.
Right.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I'm going above ground. I'm getting talismans from all the brotherhoods here that were deployed, most of which are now extinct, and I'm going to make sure that the Legion remembers them. And all this time he's like talking to a demon, because he's Galvorback, so he's like a demon. He's got like, apparently he had like swan wings at one point, but he's been fighting on the ground and is like eating dust for a year, he says. That they've like entirely corroded. And like he's
Corroded / transformed, right?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
that they're swan wings anymore. They're now bat wings, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've transmogrified. He describes them as more useful but less pretty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, once he gets to the surface, he's like, it takes 2 flaps to get in the air, and then I can soar for an hour. And I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I take wings like that. That sounds nice.
Yeah, it does sound good.
Yeah.
And so once he's up there, the poison son of Calth system is like still corrupting him and giving him tumors and stuff. But the demon's like, I can excise these, but it's gonna hurt. So he's
Right.
like in pain. He's looking for artifacts. He's having like visions of all the dead legionaries that he's finding, being like, "You're abandoning your duty. You're like, you can't be doing this." And then it cuts to 7 years prior when he was Argyle Tal was like, "Hey, Lorgar wants more Valgor back, so we're gonna open up you to the warp and maybe have a demon hop in here." And the demon is showing him visions of the future to see what he does. And all of this struggle that you have, and the tiniest bit of empathy you get for a word bearer after having been abandoned on Calth is immediately replaced with like, oh, it's a demon fucking with him. Maybe that's not true, or maybe it is true, and like he's just testing the legionary with like visions of the future.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting because Argyle is like, yeah, I've tried this with, I forget what the numbers are, like 13 of them worked, but 100 didn't.
Right? No. It was I've tried 13 times and we got 2.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So your percentages are bad with this.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
But Lorgar's like, 13 and 2, that's good numbers. But like he was totally fine with it because he's like, yeah, keep going. We can refine the process, but instead of starting with our best and brightest, take the people who hate the Ultramarines the most. Like he wants to excise the people who are just irrationally angry and unforgivable. Like what's the line at the end? It's like, you don't want warriors who know no fear. You want warriors who know no mercy or know no forgiveness. Which, oof. Yeah, I mean, he's just excising a part of his legion that he feels like will be too angry to leave Ultramar when they're like done with their greater mysteries. And he's like, okay, let's just deploy them, get them killed, maybe turn them into demons if we can. Now, make them something useful.
Right.
It's a weird kind of twisted practicality from Lorgar that I don't like. It's how because like at some point when he was loyal, his legion was making compliant worlds and building cities. They were just really slow and then and faithful. So slowness brought the Emperor's attention. Faithful brought his wrath. And it's like, oh, Lorgar is still a kind of practical commander when it comes to it. And it's hard to look past the like, okay, well, we need to capture the Ultramarines so we can use their blood to write our books with, you know?
Yeah. As one does.
As one does.
Yeah, it's a beautiful twist because it just takes you to this place and you're like, wait, where am I? When am I? What's going on here? Why is Lorgar? What's going on? And then they slowly reveal it to you, and it's like, oh, what an incredible vetting process. You take a space marine, you take over their mind, put them through 7 years of experiences in 5 seconds because warp fuckery, whatever.
Whatever.
And see what they do. See what they do with that. And then if you feel they're not good enough, then you let them die and try to find another host.
Yep.
Incredible. Yeah.
Incredible. It's it's a process. Because Lorgar even at the end was like, oh, that demon it's still like hanging around. I can still feel its presence. Maybe it'll be happier if we entice it with a stronger body. Go to the infirmary, cripple one of your brothers, and have them interred in a dreadnought, and we'll see if that's more appealing. Again, in some ways, efficient and utterly ruthless and psychotic, you know?
Yeah, it's great. That's a good one. But yeah, I mean, basically everything going on at Calth after the Battle of Calth is horrific and bad for everyone involved. Nobody's having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. Like I can't remember the names of them, but the one where it's the guy who has survived. God, he survived being on the ship.
Oh, yes.
The ship that kind of started this whole thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, he survives somehow, and he survives the Battle of Calth and ends up underneath in the caverns.
Mm-hmm.
And he feels like, he's been punished and he's horrible. And then a believer in the Emperor is like, no, you've been preserved. You've been kept safe. You've been kept alive for a reason.
Mm.
And it just so happens he's hearing voices, which, maybe not great in our world, but in a world where there's warp fuckery, worse, probably.
Right. So this is the one where the guy ends up underground, and there's like a semi-community of people who are like underground, but they realize that like they've got to dig to the nearest arcology if they want any hope of survival. They're running on limited rations and water. Everything's being held together by like one Medicaid dude and one like lieutenant of the Imperial Army or whatever, who's like just barely keeping things in line, and he starts hearing these whispers.
Yeah. Well, and two, you have to there's not enough food for everyone. Period.
Right, period.
They have running water, so that's fine. They'll starve to death instead of thirst to death. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they don't have enough food to feed anybody at all in the current state. So this is really tenuous. Everyone's on edge situation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he basically, there's this other woman who is a member of the growing faith in the Emperor, the Lectitio Divinitatis. And she's like, oh, no, you've been blessed. You've survived all of this. And then he's trying to tell them about, these whispers he's having, and he thinks that it's a warning from the Emperor that, there's traitors among us. They're going to set off some bombs. And then the bomb goes off not too far from him, but he just manages to survive, miraculously unsafe, unharmed. And so everyone, oh my god, he's protected by the Emperor. We need to listen to whatever this guy says, because religion is always right when it's the Emperor. And he slowly descends into madness where he's hearing whispers and believes that, the people he points at when he's hearing whispers must have been plotting against him and trying to sabotage
it's not
them.
Where it starts, right? It starts is he's looking for people who are traitors, because there are traitors, because people did set off bombs. So we already have this reality. There are traitors among us. Mm-hmm. So he's looking at the people and being like, I don't see, the whispers aren't telling me any of these people are traitors, but I can tell some of these people are non-believers.
Right.
They don't believe in the Emperor, and that's basically being a traitor. So let's kill them. And that's where it starts.
That's where it starts, yes.
Yeah.
So, he talks about, doing a tour inspection where it's oh, we went to, this one cave tunnel that we're digging out, and I could see it immediately in their eyes that they didn't have the faith in the Emperor, so we beat them to death, or, his assistant shot them instantly, and eventually word spread, and sometimes they would find the guilty already beaten to death by the other workers. But he loses track of, which cave tunnels he's been to, so he's, just going in a big circle, executing everyone by the end of it.
Everyone. Yeah. And guess what? The whispers aren't getting better. They're not going away.
If anything, they may be getting a little bit worse.
Yeah.
So he eventually has a moment of revelation where he realizes it wasn't any of the workers. It was his assistant who's been by his side the entire time and attempts to kill her. And she's military training, so it's really hard. Eventually she dies.
Well, and what's his face? The original saboteur shows
Right.
up, who scattered her way into the air vents, decides to pop in at this moment and get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, everyone dies except for him. He sat there alone, stuck with the whispers, realizing that it's a demon in his mind who gets through to you by talking to you. All you have to do is respond to something it says, and it can hop into you. And it was it talks about on the original ship that he survived the crashing of, it pretended to be another crew member, being like, "Oh, Vox communications are restored. Please respond." And he's like, "What was that? Please say again." And that let him in. It had been healing him when he was in danger and been crushed. And then this is just to twist the knife that little bit more. Help comes from the other side of the tunnels that they'd been trying to dig out. There were people digging to them as well. That if he hadn't killed anyone, even with the bombs going off and all their setbacks and actually running out of food, help would have found them in a couple of days. And they would have survived. Everyone would have been okay. But instead, it's just him. Tunnels of dead people he put to death himself because he thought his god was telling him. And then a space marine comes up and is like, "Hey, buddy, are there any other survivors?" And he's like, "Oh shit, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. Don't talk to him." And then he talks to him. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that was just.
Oh, it is heavy reading sometimes, where it's everything that's happening underground in Calth for many years after the first book is just atrocities. It's just awfulness for everyone involved.
Yep. Everyone dying. No one's happy. No one's having a good time down there at all.
No.
Yeah. And then there's the one where it's what's remaining of the Imperial leadership is trying to keep track of all these different arcologies and setups and who's still alive down here. And then it's oh, bad guys smuggled a nuke into that one. 2 million people just died. Shit. And it's 2 days later. Oh, they did it again. We're not good at stopping this. More people are dying by the millions. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good because it totally sets up. It's here's a group of people underground on Calth. Let's introduce you to them. Here are their names. Here's what they're doing. Here are their fears and their worries and their problems and their real characters. And now they're dead. We're going to get you sucked in, and then they're going to get vaporized by a nuke in 3 pages. Hope you got attached to these guys.
Right.
It's so good.
It's really well done. Yeah.
And then the one about the hero. What's his name?
The savior of Calth? Venetus?
Yeah. Venetus. It's a V name.
It is, yes.
Venetus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His adventures. Trying to keep people alive in this hell that is the underworld of Calth. My goodness.
So that's Calth That Was, that book by Grave McNeil. Remus Venetus. Yeah, he's I was okay, the wiki page does not explain what that book was about that a whole lot. So I'm I'll just open up the character, and the character's page is 1,000 different entry points, because it turns out this guy did a lot in No Fear as well.
Right.
And also has creditations in a book called The Chapters Do, which is a 40K book.
Yeah, so he's around for a while, it turns out.
It could just be he gets mentioned a bunch in that 40K book. Because I have read that book, and I don't remember him specifically, because it's almost none of the Space Marines actually live to be 10,000 years old. That's not a thing that really happens. In 40K, I think Dante, who is chapter master of the Blood Angels is like 1500, and he's considered to be one of the oldest Space Marines ever. That's not like in a dreadnought that sleeps for most of the time. And he is like his character defining characteristic is please kill me. I wish to die. Right? But
Right.
he's got so much battle experience, nothing can kill him.
Yes.
So I
Classic.
kind of want to go back and read that book and be like, where does this guy get mentioned, or like what's going on? But basically, he's trying to hold everything together underground, and fight the word bearers. Is this the one where he's like, no, we should not interrogate prisoners because they won't give us any good information. The word bearers bear lies.
No, that's the one where it's the underground submerged tunnels with the water.
Right, and it's clearly like the a cross between like a minotaur and a labyrinth and the
Like a
Gorgon.
basilisk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Both good books, I think. I mean, a little like on the nose for historical reference, but not bad.
Yeah.
It was really fun, like them like realizing that the word bearer cut out his own eyes so that he wouldn't accidentally see this thing, and like eventually piecing it together. And the poor human woman who's like, you want me to go under the water? And he's like, yeah, and stay down there as long as you can. She's like, well, I can't swim, so that won't be a problem.
Little dark humor for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like he basically cuts the cable that feeds vision to him through his helmet, so he's functionally blind without being actually blind, which is smart, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it does raise the question that like a picture of this thing has the same image, like has the same effect as like looking at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what if you just pulled up the thermal? Like, would the thermal of this thing kill you? Like, maybe, I guess. Do you want to try it? I don't want to try it, I guess.
Right, but he also is like risking it enough that like the reflection on the water will also like kill itself, like because it'll be able to see itself. That's what he does. He turns on his lamp on his helmet and is like, haha, got
Aha.
you.
Trickery.
I do really like in that book that even though it's now killed itself essentially, they don't describe what it actually looks like, and just has the poor human like go mad anyway. Like even as a statue, this thing is so horrific to look at, it drives people mad. It's good to see like the unknowable horror aspect of Warhammer be like, picture something in your head, that's what it is. We're not going to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, your imagination does a better job creating this thing than whatever we can write. So
Right.
yeah, that was good. Venetus's like superhero moment at the end of his book though is great. Like there's a word bearer about to unleash the Life Eater virus on Calth, and he has to ride a bike, not a bike, what are they?
Land speeder.
Land speeder.
Yeah. Which is not a speeder that speeds over the land. That is a speeder that was found and discovered by Arcan Land, the techno-archaeologist from another book.
Right.
Land
important note.
speeder. I don't shake my head at a lot of retcons, but I think that one's silly.
That one's very silly. So yeah, I mean, it's funny because the word bearers give him the chance to save the day. One of them opens up a gate to the void, and he's able to basically knock
The virus through the void.
whoever's holding it.
Yeah.
Whoever's holding it. It's a space marine, I think. Maybe corrupted. Who knows? Yeah, knock him and the Life Eater virus into the portal, which then closes, and Calth is saved? Question mark. More saved than it was 10 minutes ago, I guess.
Yes. He's like, oh, the bomb, it's got 10 seconds left on the clock. And then I always love it when they give us timers in like books and movies and stuff. Because in the audiobook, I'm like, for the next 10 seconds, I'm going to listen really carefully and see if I feel like this is 10 seconds worth of action. And it never is. And I love that.
It's never even close. It's always a lot longer. Yeah.
So he basically knocks the bomb through the portal, and wherever that other Space Marine was going, I guess
Life Eater virus.
Life Eater virus.
But like, does it work on warp creatures? I was wondering that. I'm like, what effect does it have out there?
It probably has an effect on warp creatures in the Materium, but not
Yeah.
in the Sea of Souls. I don't think. 'Cause
Right.
they're just energy, right? They don't
Mm-hmm.
have matter to be eaten.
Right. So the two word bearer space marines that get knocked through with it, they probably die. But like, that's pretty much it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, why couldn't you have opened that portal to Colchis or to Lorgar or something?
Yeah,
Push.
that would have been incredible.
Yeah. What a plot twist.
Although, if I remember right, if you're in a fully sealed suit, you're probably okay.
You're probably okay. Because, like, there are definitely, like, a dreadnought who's like, I'm not dead. The virus can't find any cracks in my armor. I'll be
Yeah.
fine. Get to the bunker. I feel like at this point, the word bearers are like, we don't wear helmets. We've got banners and books and idolatry all over us. And, like, we want you to see that we've got, our book tattooed and scarred into our faces, you know? I feel like they don't exactly have sealed suits. Discipline.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, well, we're going through the holy warp. Obviously, I want to look upon that with my real eyes.
Oh,
Not,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So helmets off.
Would have done great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, the whole reason that plan failed for them is because it wasn't a suicide mission, right?
Right.
If the word bearer had been willing to die to accomplish his mission, then that would have been it.
That would have been it. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to escape was your mistake, sir. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So
Anyway.
I did read a little bit more. Apparently, when Ventus gets mentioned, Venetus gets mentioned in the 40K book. It's about his tomb. So they're like, it. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I do remember now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just like, why does his tomb still exist in 40K? Like, why was he so important? And this book's like, because he did this stuff.
Yes. That's kind of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, basically the whole book, there's this running theme of both the word bearers and the Ultramarines being like, where's our dad? Why isn't anyone coming to pick us up?
Right.
We've been waiting at the rec center for 3 hours already.
That's a good way to put it.
And I found it a pretty good question, honestly. Like, I don't know what purposes it serves anybody. Although I guess we got the answer with Lorgar. He wanted those word bearers to die.
Right.
So he's culling the herd. But,
Well,
like, why Gilliman's like, screw you guys.
So, how much like off-world communication do they have? Like, how are fleets in orbit able to tell that there are people alive underground?
Well, right, but everybody knows about the underground stuff in Calth. Like, there's a decent chance people ended up surviving down there.
Sure,
It's one of the notable characteristics of the planet.
True, but there like
Okay.
one of the other notable characteristics of the system is now that if you step out of a spaceship, you're going to get killed by the sun.
Yes.
So it might be a matter of like, well, we know they're there. We're trying to now deal with like a Horus rebelling. Lorga and Angron are going rampage across the 500 worlds. People in Calth are just gonna have to wait.
I guess. I don't like it, though.
That's the only thing I can really like think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the other answer would just simply be the pragmatism of it all, right? How many resources do you have to expend to save how many people?
Right.
How many space marines are left? How many regular humans are down there that we're going to have to relocate to some other planet? And by the way, all of our planets are getting destroyed, so that's not great.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, and how many of those people down there are now, or are like actually surviving traitor forces in disguise? You know.
Right. It's cold. It's like a cold-hearted calculus, but I can kind of understand why you'd be like,
Hesitant.
lost cause.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Calth.
Yeah.
Poor Calth.
Yeah. Poor Calth. And then I think the first book in the anthology is the Shards of Erebus, where Erebus takes the anatheme that like nearly killed Horus and like makes it into 8 of these little daggers, and then like learns how to do the cut open a portal with them, and then gives them to like some captains and champions of the Legion. And like that's the setup, that's the through line for how everyone else, like when everyone else starts cutting portals with daggers, that's the this is the introduction to that. And it's like that's not the thing that just happens for some people. Erebus very specifically went out and spent years on Davin learning how to do it, you know,
Right.
and then killing that woman.
Yeah, but she was like, "It's the will. It's the will of the warp and
Yeah,
the void. This is
yeah.
great." She died smiling, man. It's
She,
fine. She's all right.
yeah, she's happy with it. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't sad she died. She was instrumental to the fall of Horus in Galaxy in Flames and
Right.
False
Right. Right.
Gods, you know?
Yep. Yep. That's
Uh,
true. Oh yeah, and then there's the whole story with Erebus giving like specific people
the,
their own.
that's that book, yeah. Their own little
Yeah.
anathema
Yeah.
dagger. Yeah, those are all
Right.
shards of the anathema
Which
sword, yeah.
they don't do anything except for the one guy who had his dagger stolen by an ultramarine and killed with it,
Which
which
ends up
was great.
which that's the one that ends up with old person. Like he ends up with one of them, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's. I don't know if it's that one or not, but whatever.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
he
I
ends
think
up
the
with.
I think the one he ends up with is the one from the story told from the dagger's perspective, the one that's like from old Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which that's a great book. I absolutely loved that. Being
Yeah.
like,
That was really interesting.
the entire narration's like, yes, so he picked you up and you've never been touched like this before, but it reminds you of the touch of your maker, and and like the dagger's sitting there waiting for the transaction of blood that comes with every new owner, and then it doesn't happen, and it's disappointed a little,
And super mad about it. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So I guess the question I guess that I have is, from what I understand from that book, it's a normal dagger.
so
It's taken from stone. Some dude in ancient times on Earth built it. And what made it special was the fact that it was used for murder for so long.
essentially, yeah, it's the
Okay.
ritual significance, but it is just the
Yeah.
dagger. I think it's supposed to be like daggers don't normally last 40,000 years, even underground. So it's
Yeah.
made out of, like, it talks about how it laid underground for so long that the people who were, like, killed the owner, their armor had rusted and disintegrated and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
it is just a ritual dagger that has, I don't know if it's actually sentient or if it just has significance. Or does it actually, like, because the book is written from its perspective, but
Yeah.
is it sentient is a question.
The way it's written, it certainly is. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
Feels that way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I just like it doesn't actually do anything with like it's a dagger. It could be sentient all at once. It can't. It doesn't have legs or an arm.
Right. Right.
It can't
And there's
swing
definitely
itself.
parts of that story where it's, yeah, hanging out. It's underground. It's buried and stuff. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
picks it up for thousands of years.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the question is there any significance to the fact that it's sentient? Because
Doesn't seem-
no, it doesn't have any free will. Like,
No.
yeah.
But it also doesn't seem unhappy with its situation. It's like I'm a dagger. I get stabbed. I stab people. It's fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy the hot spray of red vitae across me every time I'm used. It's great.
Definitely. Definitely enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting idea for sure. Very fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so Erebus gives 8 of these other significant daggers made from shards of the anatheme to various people like Corphayron, and then is like, hey, it's these have special powers, but I'm not going to tell you any more than that. You got to go figure it out yourself. Yeah.
And they're like, screw you, Erebus. This is garbage.
Stop telling us riddles. Just speak plainly, good man.
They're so done with him. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like I said, they don't do anything.
Right.
This is a later setup, is what it is. Because,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure the only thing those daggers do is kill one of the dudes who's carrying one, which is, again, very funny. Because the Ultramarine's like, I can't kill this thing. Shit. Then he's like, hold on. That dagger. I've seen those before. They can kill these things. Let's go. It's really nice of you to bring it to this fight.
So the wiki does list the people that got them, and like Morpul Skrixer, CXIR. Who the hell spells a name like that? He gets one, but apparently he was like in the No Fear book. So did he do anything there with it? No, he just kind of dies. But
Right.
But like again, that was Erebus. He's being like, look, I've gave them the tool to like save themselves and get off Calth. If they don't want to take the time to learn it or they don't trust me, that's on them. So,
again, Erebus was specifically trained by that lady for like.
Right.
What does he think they're going to pick this up on their own? It's ridiculous.
Well, that's the interesting thing because one of them does. The guy who with the life eater virus in the caverns is like, I'm gonna cut open a portal and get out of here.
That's true.
Yeah.
So okay, I guess it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Someone pulled it off. Good job, guy. I mean, he's dead now, but good job, guy.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's that book. We did it.
Book. That's that book. That is that anthology. Done.
Mm-hmm.
I think we covered everything. What do we want to read next?
Great question. What were we moving towards?
We were moving towards Unremembered Empire.
Yeah.
Because that's where, like, the Lion... Because we before this, we finished, like, the Dark Angel stuff. And the next thing is the Unremembered Empire.
Oh, we did it.
Well, we still need Vulcan Lives.
Oh, okay.
If we want to read a Vulcan book. But there's also, like, 2 short stories, apparently, that lead into that, which... Did we do Forgotten Sons? Did we do Age of Darkness? I don't think we did.
You know, all these titles are so non-specific. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a book I've read.
No. We did Tales of Heresy, we did the Primarchs, and Mark of Calth. Those are the 3 anthologies we've done.
Yeah.
So we could specifically look out for 2 short stories, or we could just jump into Vulcan Lives. I'm sure it'll make perfectly good sense.
I mean, I can do short stories and Vulcan Lives this week.
Yeah, the problem is I have the books where the anthologies are in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'll listen to the entire anthologies is the problem. So if it's 2 separate anthologies and then Vulcan Lives, that's 3 books I'm reading. Because sometimes in the chapters, they don't break down where one book starts and another one finishes. So it's like, do I just start at chapter 4 or chapter 5? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Which is a problem.
Yep.
Tell you what, we'll just go to Vulcan Lives and we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll just read the plot summary of Forgotten Sons and Scorched Earth according to the flowchart.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine by me.
Okay. So once again, not on the library.
No?
Nope.
No.
They know what it is. It's just not in the system yet.
Yeah.
There's 3 states. One state is they don't know what you're talking about. The other state is we know what you're talking about and we don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is we know what you're talking about, we have it, and it's available. And I guess the last state is we know what you're talking about, we have it, but it's not available.
Mm.
And the last few have been somewhere between we don't know what you're talking about and we do, but we don't have it.
Mm-hmm. So
Anyway.
Vulcan Lives by Nick Kime.
Yep.
I have heard that this is one of the iffier books.
Conrad Kurz. Oh no.
Yeah, Conrad Kurz.
Fine.
Trust me, you're gonna love Conrad Kurz.
He's edgy 90s edgelord man.
He's fine. He's great.
And you didn't say I'm wrong.
I did not say you were wrong.
Oh my gosh, I almost have Amazon Kindle points.
Oh.
I mean, enough for a reward. I need 300 and I have 294.
Okay.
And with 300 points, I get $3. Woohoo!
Wow.
This system is garbage. This is the worst rewards point system I've ever seen.
It's not great.
No. All right. Boo. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Fine. All right.
Okay, got it.
Got it.
On the phone. We're ready to go.
Sweet.
Okay. Well, good edition of the pod again. Good discussion. Good analysis. Always fun. And we're going to wrap it up. So that's going to be it from us. This has been Somicron and Falcon Paladin with another hour of the Falcon Paladin Hour-ish. It's not exactly an hour. Never exactly an hour. But yeah, we stream this thing live at twitch.tv/Somicron and also post the VODs to youtube.com/@Somicron. If you want to support the podcast, that's at patreon.com/Somicron and falconpaladin.store by buying merch. Hope you enjoy it. Leave us a comment if you enjoyed this thing. If you have any questions for us, we'll read them. And until next time, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. You take care of yourself.